Then I just said, Eureka, I found the answer. This long last, question today was answered. And the boy was perplexed. He says, what did I say? And what? I tried to explain to him. He wouldn't be able to get it right away. It was very hard because it took a long time for myself to know it. And that day I found out that these three definitions given by Marxists, very smart, but it's not a complete and perfect definition. It's not a full definition. There has to be another statement added to this. If you think about it, you can't add any other statement to these three statements. It's very hard to create a fourth statement. For example, if you say matter has weight, well, weight is effective gravity. If you say it has shape or this or that, there are many matters that doesn't have shape. But everything has to occupy space, everything moves, everything is in time, but the fourth thing has to be there. And what was that one? I discovered that matter is always composed. Matter is not pure and must have been made at least of two things. Like at least two ingredients has to be in it, which, according to Marxism or Hegel, in fact, one of them is called theses, the other one is called antitheses or antitheses. The interaction between these two opposite forces creates synthesis, which is the evolution. So, matter cannot be pure. Matter is always composed. Why? Because only if it is made out of two, I can see the sign of movement. I can see there is time. But if it is pure and it's one, not two, no time then is taken to be there. No motion is taken. No time. In a crazy way, it might occupy empty space, but it can't be in time and motion. In order to define time to the matter or motion, you have to have a matter made out of two factors, at least two particles, whatever you want to call it, two. It can't be just a real atom. So the word atom, which means not breakable, first it was said by somebody, I guess in the ancient Greece, Democritus. He said atom means unbreakable. This issue was on till the 19th century in the Faraday, I think, the English chemist. Even in his chemistry, we do not have atom as made out of anything. But in 1905, J.J. Thomson from England, based on some experiment in Germany was happening, and they did not know what this blue rays is in this experiment. And he said that this is electron. Those days they call something else. But that day, the atom broke down to be at least of two things. One electron, positive, negative, and a positive part, which would be the rest of that. Matter goes on by Sir Rutherford, a New Zealander, later a Canadian, finally a British scientist who went and discovered a proton and neutron, and matter started to, unfold itself. There was later on, I think, Chadwick, James Chadwick, I believe. He was an Englishman too, and he found neutron, I think. Yeah, proton was by Mr. Rutherford, and neutron. And later on, went on and to the point that we have Enrico Fermi, who finds neutrino even. Today, there is like, I don't know, more than 500-600, if I'm not mistaken, of particles within the atom. Atom actually is defined as, let's say, give it a size, as big as a football field in a square. Imagine. They say the center of it, if it's just a little marble. Imagine how many marble would be in this huge field. We have about 500-600 of those marbles. Kaon, mesons, and so on, as particles. So atoms are empty things. So this atom, they found out this is every day, you know, proliferations of finding particles every day. What do we do? And I think Murray Gell-Mann, he said, no, the particle itself is made of something else, subparticles, and they are called quarks, which there are 6 quarks called strain, charm, top, bottom, up, and down. There are 6 of them, and they come in 3 flavors, atomic flavors, color, and which makes it 18. And there are antimatter, according to Pauli Dirac and other scientists. Therefore, there's 36 quarks for now as basis of the universe. The bottom. This is how far we've gone into the physics. But surely 36 is not the number. The universe did not start from number 36. You have to go on to find out where the beginning is. Finally, if you come to a point that you find, okay, there were 2 things that began, that would not be the beginning of the universe. If the universe is starts from 2 points, at that 2 points, the point in between them, definitely there's a space. That space takes time to travel from point A to B. Then there's time, and then there's movement. And they occupy empty space. We don't need God. But if you say that the 2 cannot be the beginning, there has to be 1, all of a sudden there's a problem. Because 1 is not 2, therefore time and motion cannot be applied to it. In physics, in philosophy of Marx, they call that prime matter. Prime matter is not really matter as such. If the universe is starts from prime matter, just 1, it cannot cause this motion and time and this evolution in the universe we have. So we need 2. If you have 2, both of them is matter, is not beginning. If it is 1, it cannot be the beginning. So what do we do in between? It's like a paradox, perplexities. I said, universe started must start from 2 points in order to create time and motion. So why don't we do this? That point A is matter, so the universe has a beginning. The point B is not a matter, is beyond matter, is metaphysics. Independent from that point, as something outside, that first pair is made. 1 is matter, 1 is metaphysic, non-matter. Independent from each other. This way we have a universe that started materially from 1 point, and this way we have a universe that starts from 2, but 1 is only physics, 1 is metaphysics. And the problem will be solved. So, the beyond matter is not matter, we call that prime will. That would be in the religion. God uses will. Christianity call it the word. God had a word. He has a will. He decides. There's a plan. The plan is metaphysics. Uses the plan, applies to the physics. These 2 force together creates the Big Bang. The universe starts. It's very difficult to get this point, but I challenge anybody that listens to this to come up and say that this is wrong. Now, at this point, we have a universe that's made out of physics and metaphysics. I was talking to this to some professor I remember at UNBC somewhere in British Columbia. He said to me, well, Mr. Tremor, he had a cup, I think a coffee cup in his hand. He says, where is that metaphysic in this cup? He brought the cup. Well, he says that if you say that the whole universe is made out of physics and metaphysics, today that metaphysics has to be everywhere, somewhere. If I tell you human, immediately you say my law of motion and all that. But I want to say, mention it to you to this cup. What is this in this cup? I said the smart questions. The answer is that that cup, as it is in its shape, it does not exist in the nature. You know and I know. It was the sand on the shore, at 10,000 degrees, they turn into crystal, and now they make this glass and shape it. You could say this glass, this cup, was existing as an idea in the head of the maker. Whoever was making it, he shaped and formed this structure of this cup and all of its figure and measurement and sizes in his head and then use the sand, transfer it and make the cup. There is no cup without soul. Cup therefore has air. This is what brings us to the writing of Abdul Baha. Somewhere in the promulgative to the Baha'i faith, it's a book. I do not remember the exact name. It's one of his speeches. He says this physical world is exactly, has a counterpart in the spiritual world. An exact counterpart this is. So according to Abdul Baha and the Baha'i faith, this is very important. It's one of the prime directive, I call it today. Let's say of 120 prime directive that I know of, and I can't recall all of them, this is one of them. The prime directive of the universe, that the universe is made out of parallel. One physics, one metaphysics. There can't be